a great webinar again, and let's start with it. This is an introduction to ethical hacking, and my name is Danish, and I'll be your presenter for this series of webinars. Yeah. So let's start with the introduction of ethical hacking. Well, guys, ethical hacking and an ethical hacker are terms that describe hacking performed to help a company or individual identify potential threats on the computer or network. Well, guys, an ethical hacker attempts to hack their way past the system's security and find any weak points in the security that could be exploited by other hackers. So, guys, the organization uses what the ethical hacker finds to improve the system's security, and in an effort to minimize, if not eliminate, any potential hacker attacks. Yes. So if you want to be an ethical hacker, and in order for hacking to be deemed ethical, the hacker must obey some rules. If you want to be an ethical hacker, you have to obey some rules, and I think I should mention 4 or 5 points. The first is that you have permission to probe the network and attempt to identify potential security risks. And it is recommended that if you are the person performing the test, that you get the written consent. Yeah, you have to get the written consent. You can't do penetration testing. Like, for an example, you have given a range of 10 IP addresses and you are just scanning the entire subnet. No, you are not allowed to that. If you want it to be deemed ethical, you have to be according to the written policy. And the second is that you respect the individual's or company's privacy and only go looking for security issues. If they have given you some access, you cannot go just here and there. You just have to be very specific. Just look at the security issues according to the policy only. The third is that you report all the security vulnerabilities you detect to the company and not leaving anything open for you or someone else to come in a later time. So if you got access for a particular period of time, you don't have to go again. You don't have to store a backdoor. You don't have to create a daisy chaining so that you can go again and again in the same system. And that you let the software developer or hardware manufacturer know of any security vulnerability you locate in their software or hardware, and if already not known by the company, so you should tell if there is any hardware problem, any software vulnerability, any kind of vulnerability, you have to do it. Yeah. So guys, the term ethical hacker has received a lot of criticism at times from people who say that there is no such thing as an ethical hacker because hacking is hacking. Yeah, hacking is hacking, and the people say that no matter how look at it, and those who do the hacking are commonly referred to as computer criminals. So those who are doing hacking, if your parents heard that you are a hacker, so what they will think? Yeah, you are a criminal. Oh, what kind of things you are doing? So you are a criminal. So people are not aware that hacking is a very positive term. It is the cracking that makes it malicious. So it is hacking that is very positive term, but people refer to it as a computer criminal. However, the work that ethical hackers do for the organizations has helped improve system security and can be said to be quite successful. So individuals interested in becoming an ethical hacker can work towards a certification to become a certified hacker that is called CEHV8, and this certification is provided by the International Council of E-Commerce Consultants, that is called EC Council. So let's move on to another slide that says what is the difference between hacker and a cracker, because previously I was saying that hacker is a positive person, he's a good guy, and cracker is a negative guy, he's a bad guy. So what is actually the difference between the both? Well guys, in my opinion, everything makes a difference between these two, because both of them are like the similar poles of the magnet, which will never attract to each other. And let me explain you their job to you all. And job means here what they actually do. And this explanation is not a comparison between the hackers and the crackers. This is not going to be a comparison. because both of them are equally important for the web. If there won't be any cracker, there are not going to be any hackers too. So let's get started with the basic difference between hacker and a cracker. Well guys, we call hackers as white hats, because hackers are the white hat people, and they are those people who fight against the odds. And rather crackers, let me give an example. If one site is defaced, then the defacer will be called the cracker, while the one who will patch it up and make it look what it looked like before being cracked is called a hacker. So in the nutshell, if the cracker are the criminals, while the hackers are the cops. Yeah, that's it. And hackers have the deep knowledge about the latest and the oldest exploits. So according to a survey conducted by a Chinese firm, there is just one hacker for 127 crackers. And this is a really big score. Yes. And hackers obviously are rare to find, while you can find hundreds of crackers in the entire market. So hackers are even hired by big firms to check the security of their site. And the other name for hackers is just ethical hacker. So let's take a look at the cracker's job profile. And guys, I just want to mention that if you want to ask any question in between, that is I'm receiving, I want you guys to let me finish this webinar, this lecture of 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes, and later on in the end you can type everything, you can type the question, and I'll respond to you. I'll try to respond to you each and every. So just wait for it. Let me finish this lecture. Let me explain what I want to explain to you two guys today. And at the later part of the series, we will see what will be the questions, and I'll answer you each and everything. Thank you, Henry. So let's move on to the difference. Now let us come to crackers. Crackers are the black hats. Crackers are those hackers, those people who challenge the white hat. The most common method of challenging is cracking one site's security and then either leaking the confidential information or defacing it. So in both the cases, the webmasters face a lot of difficulties. So when a cracker defaces a website, it is the job of a hacker to patch it up. And crackers are even sent to jails for doing this. And some of them have even been assassinated. So in the nutshell, crackers are the outlaws. And when a cracker breaches security of one site, he or she uses all the possible methods to hide himself or herself. So rather stay anonymous, but it is the cyber science or the foolishness of the crackers which doesn't help their cause and leads them to arrest. So in most of the cases, crackers are generally don't have a lot of knowledge about the security subject, and some of them even download tools which help them in cracking. So they are just like a script kiddies. So the question comes that who is the most dangerous one? Is it the cracker or is it a hacker? So I have a response. I mean, it is my own created analogy that I have already mentioned that this explanation won't act as the comparison between these two. But still, some of you might be thinking that who is more powerful? Is it the hacker or a cracker? Well, I'll say that, let me tell you the bitter truth, that crackers, in my opinion, are more powerful than hackers because they don't have abide by the laws, and they also don't have the thing called fear. Another reason of the same is that crackers can crack or deface any website, and what makes the situation worse there, sometimes it takes months for the webmaster to accept that the fact that his or her site security has been breached. So we don't want to accept that my security is breached. I don't want to accept that, oh, I got hacked, I'm very much secured because I'm a security professional. No, that's why the crackers are more strong and they are more dangerous. So this is the basic difference between hacker and a cracker. And let's move on to another slide. I got a difference between hacker and a cracker. Now I want to just say that what is it, how will I become a hacker? How do I going to become a hacker? So because of the frequency of this question, everyone who are coming here getting training, they are just saying that how to become a hacker, just give us a path. So I'm saying that because of this frequency of these questions, has been asked in the emails, people coming and on the forums and search many a times on Mercury solutions. So we have just decided to create this slide for this question. So although a hacker can be described as many things, we believe most users want to learn the malicious side of the hacking. And to those people who might be watching this webinar, they might be thinking that I want to be a hacker that is going to be create codes in a way malicious codes. So I just want to be a bad person. No, well actually if you are coming here, I'm just going to try to show you that how could you be a good person. So Mercury will not assist users in learning how to crack, steal, break or otherwise hack into something illegally. However, the term hacker can also define someone who has an advanced understanding of computers and programming. So for users who are in need of learning more about this side of the term hacker, I suggest some steps visible on the screen. Yeah, the first is that the first is the computer basics. Having a good understanding of a computer, the computer that makes a computer and how it all works in an essential. If you have a deep understanding or if you have a basic understanding, you could be, this is going to be a good start to become a hacker. And second is that you should read books because it is going to make, you just have to make a goal to read computer books that cover your interest, or visit popular online bookstores such as Amazon and browse through the top 100 books to get an understanding of what others are reading. And just go on, search entirely online and look at the different books about hacking, introduction and different tricks, and read some history, be nostalgic, read some history about what different hackers did. So this is going to give you an understanding and a methodology of the working of hackers. The third could be the online news. This is the most interesting, I'll say, because visiting online computer news pages at least a few times weekly to keep up with all the latest computer news or hacking news, this is going to make you updated what is going on actually in the entire world. I'm thinking just like a frog of a well, and I want to be out of it. So I can increase my thinking, I can think better than others, so I have to be very much updated and I should use online news. The fourth could be the participation in the forum. Look brothers, the internet is full of online forums where hundreds and thousands of other users participate with each other in answering questions or talking about what they love to do. Participating on one or more of these forums will not allow you only allow you to test your understanding of a subject, but also learn from others. EC Council itself provides you portals, blogs, etc., where you can log in after the certification. When you are certified, you can just log in to EC Council's website and just look at the forums, the portals, the blogs. That is going to help you a lot, better than others. Another is the very important point, that is pick up a programming language. If you are interested in software or how software works, learning a programming language can be an invaluable tool in getting this understanding. Learning a language will help teach you how to create your own programs, can help with debugging, give you a better understanding of why a program may not work, and can help with getting a program or script to do what you want to do with it. In addition to learning more about how to programming, learning language so if you are a good programmer, you don't have to use the system, and you know when you avoid, you have to create the god of your own. So I'll strongly recommend that pick up a programming language. If you need more experience with programming, creating your own open source project or helping with someone else, it can be invaluable learning experience. So creating your own website can also be another great learning experience. In the details behind website design, setting up a website, especially if you set up your own web server to host a page, that is going to be very great. So, but I want to clear a point here. If you don't know anything about programming, you don't have to do it. All those who don't know how to create Microsoft service, who don't know how to create an operating system, they can be a good user of operating system. So if I don't know how to create a firewall, if I don't know how to create a hardware firewall, but I can be a good user of firewall. So if you don't know the programming language, you don't have to be upset. Mercury is the right place. If you come here, we are going to teach you what you are exactly looking for. So even if you don't know programming language, you don't have to start with it. You can just start with what others have already been created. Next, what I want to figure out is learning alternative operating systems. Many users today are running an end user version of Microsoft Windows. While this is fine for home or for office use. So it's a good idea to learn alternative operating systems such as one of the dozens of different Linux, Unix, Ubuntu series. And learning a Linux system not only helps broaden your experience with computers, but is a necessity when wanting to navigate many of the Linux-based servers, running many websites and other web servers also, other web services also. So for users completely new to Linux, a good first start is going to be Ubuntu. So this distribution of Linux can also be run by a booting of a CD, although this is extremely easy and a good way to play with Linux. If you are willing a full experience, it would be better to install Ubuntu on the computer system and start with it. And the last but not the least is learning more on networking. Because networks are what run the internet and what connect home or office computers together. So knowing as much as you can about how a network operates, including basics such as what an IP address protocol, port number can do, and the thousands of other networking definitions can be at another vital thing to learn about. So in addition, reading about networking, setting up your own home network, especially a network with multiple computer systems and different operating systems, can be a fantastic learning experience. So guys, these are what can make you a hacker. And so let's move on to another slide. This is going to be our file system hacking. So we have said a lot, we have spoke a lot. Now this is the time to start our practical. Guys, I'm going to show you one example of live system hacking, and this is our topology. I have a system here. This is going to be my system, and this is my router, and I am connected to internet, and this is going to be victim's router, and this is going to be the victim's laptop or a computer system. I just want to tell you that we have in a written consent that we can do this live hacking practical, because I have created my own lab, and with the consent of this, the director of our company, we have written consent that we can do this practical. So I created my own lab, and that is not going to be offensive at all, but this is just a part of pen testing. I just want to show you that this can be done, and then later on I will tell you how to secure it. So this laptop is going to be my system, this is my router, and this is my victim's router. Internet is between, and this is going to be victim's system. So before that, I just want to explain you what is port forwarding. Without port forwarding, if you want to do system hacking and you don't have any public IP address, you don't have any hosting, you don't have any public IP address, without port forwarding, you cannot hack system outside your network. You cannot hack system outside your network. If you don't know port forwarding, you cannot hack system outside your network. I just want to explain you something about port forwarding. That port forwarding, also referred to as tunneling, is essentially the process of intercepting traffic bound for a certain IP port, combination, and redirecting to a different IP and or a port. This redirection may be accomplished by an application running on the destination host. Or it may be performed by intermediate hardware like a router, proxy, server, or a firewall. So I just want to show you that this is my system, and let's take an example that, sorry for my bad handwriting. This is going to be 192.168.3. something. This is my system. This is going to be my router. This is victim's router, and this is the target machine. Now, I am going to switch on the port forwarding here, and at that system, there is going to be a port. For an example, let's take 888. So this port, if someone from here tries to come onto my system, okay? If someone tries to come onto my system on this port, sorry, on my router, and if someone tries to come on my router at this port, and I made a policy here at this router that if someone tries to come at 8888, he is going to be redirected to my system at port number, any port number like 7777. So this redirection is going to help me that any person can interact directly to my system through this port forwarding. So if I did a port forward here, so if anyone is connecting directly to 8888, then he can directly connect to my system at port number 7777. So this is just a basic understanding, and I'll configure it right now so that you can understand what I'm trying to do, what is port forwarding actually. So just let me configure. So this is my browser, and I am going to access my router. On this router, in NAT, in this virtual servers, this is going to be a port forwarding configuration. I added this, and here I am going to customize my service. Let's take an example. I am giving test, and let's take all the protocols here. And for the external port that is going to be listened, I am giving 5555, and for the same internal port 5555, so that I may not get confused. This is not important that you have to give exactly the same. You just have to give anything. And the internal IP address of my system. So let me check the IP address of my system. And it is 3.3. So what I'm trying to say is, if anyone comes to my system, comes to my router at 5555 with my public IP address, he is going to be redirected, and he is actually connected to my base machine, that is 3333 at this port number. That means a public can directly communicate to me because of this port forwarding. So I just did it, and it is configured that at 3.3 I am connected. This is my policy. External port is 5555, internal is 5555, and we just configured. So let me check that if anyone tries to communicate with us, there is a website called canyouseme.org. Let me check, because I didn't started the listening. So if anyone tries to communicate with me at port number 5555, am I be able to listen, or did I started listening, and can he listen to me? No, it says the services are not running. So now what will I do? I'll start listening on my system. I'm using Netcat. So this is not in the introduction, so I'm just giving you a brief introduction about Netcat. It's a remote Trojan, and you can use it for a lot of reasons which I gave in the CH. So I'm opening listening for L verbose mode with the port number that is 5555. And I'm just starting it, the listening. It is started. Now I started a listening at 5555. 5555 is forwarded at router with the same port number. If anyone tries to communicate with 5555 at this IP address, that is my public IP address. So if they check my port, it says that I can see your service. That means a public IP address is directly connected to my base machine because of this port forwarding. I think it is clear. So if you still have doubts, you can ask me at the later part of this webinar when I start the question and answer round. So we started it. So that means our port forwarding is working fine. So I am going to make a Trojan according to this slide, that I'm going to make a Trojan. I'm just with this machine, and I'm going to send a Trojan to this machine. And when he double clicks on it, the entire remote session is going to come at this machine. So this is going to be a practical. So let's start with it. I'm going to use dark format, only dark format for this time. What you have to do is, this is 5.3.1 version, and the latest is 5.4 version, and that is not going to work for you. That is just a server module, and it is not going to make stuff for you. So you have to use 5.3.1. Click on socket, right click here, and add code to listen. This is 1604. You can use it, but you didn't forward it. So what you forwarded is 5555, and click on listen. Now listening is started at 5555. So if anyone from the outside the network tries to connect to it, then he can connect it. And let's build the server. Click on server module and click on full editor. Look at here. Forget about security password, that is not so much important. In the process mutex, you can just choose random. In the network setting, you have to give public IP address here. Remember, if you are doing building this stuff and exploiting these machines, you have to give the local IP address here and the any port number, and just click on add. But because we did port forward and we want to see how this is going to work in WAN, how to do system hacking in WAN. So because of this reason, we are doing it as a public IP address. So we will give a public IP address. This is our public IP address. I just added it. The port that we just forwarded is 5555 and we added it. Now come on to module startup. Click on this start this stuff with Windows module startup, and this is going to be dropped in temporary folder. Let's take for this example with in this folder subfolder, and the file name that is going to be catchy. We can take system 32 DLL. We can just melt it after the first execution. We can change the date of the creation, and a lot of options you can use. In the install message, if the person double clicks on it, so what is going to be the message? So it could be welcome and you are rated at Mercury. So you just test it, choose an icon and test it. So this is the message that shows. In the module shield, this is very interesting. You can just disable the Windows user account control. You can just disable the firewall from XP Service Pack 3 to Windows 7. disable the registry, the task manager, a lot of options. But I'll suggest you that don't do this, because if these are disabled, there is going to be a message in the action center, and that could alarm the system. So the person can think, oh, there is something wrong with it. So just you can try it, or it's just upon you that if you know the social engineering part, you just have to look at the destination, what kind of the person who is going to be a victim is. So come to keylogger. The keylogger is activated, and if you want to send a logs to FTP server, you can send it to here. You can make a change in the host file. These are the IP addresses and the domain names. You can just change it. Add the plugins, file binder. You can bind a file. You can choose an icon, but I don't like these options. I think I have to search for it. And in the stuff finalization, you can just see that there is an exe executable file format. You can use different file formats, but for this instance, I'm going to use .exe. So after doing this, just build the stub, and I'm just saving it on a desktop. The name of the stub is test. It is going to be saved as test.exe. And we just created it. You just have to give me some time as I am installing this stuff in my pen drive, and I'll push this to another system. And if you have questions for this, you can just ask me later on. So let me go to desktop, push this to pen drive, and just give me a few seconds, and I'll install it to my another machine that is connected to a different network. So just give me a few seconds. Okay, so I just double clicked on it, and I just have to wait for a few seconds more because I clicked on it, and the message that appears there, it says that you are rated by Mercury. There is a user going to be shown here. You just have to wait for a few seconds. I'm connected to another network, and my another laptop is connected to another network. Okay. So we got it. Now I just want to tell you that this is the public IP and this is the local IP of that system which we just installed the stub on it. And let me show you my public IP again, that I am not in a local system LAN, I'm in a WAN, and this is my public IP. This is my public IP. This is the public IP of another system, that is our another network, that is MSL. So MSL testing is this, MSL is this. So I hope you got it. And I just got the system. Let me see. That is Windows 7 machine. Let's check at the system computer information. At that, I just refresh it, and I got the system. And it is Windows 7 machine. And you can do a lot of things here, like in the fun functions. You just open the fun manager. You can open the CD-ROM. You can open the CD-ROM. You just close it, and the CD-ROM is just opened. And You can hide the desktop, show the desktop, and that really works. If I just show you, that is going to be interested, because that is just open over there. You can hide the desktop, just show the desktop. If you open piano, whatever you are running here, that is going to be sound there. In the remote chat, if you send anything from here, hi, oh, let me install the chat here. This is just automatically sending a chat.dll there. I just sent hi, this is me. So this message is going to be appeared there. So I want to show you that how it is getting appeared there. I just check this remote desktop and I'll start the capture. See, this is the capture of that machine, and this is test that I just executed at that machine, and this is the remote chat which I just sent over there. So I'm stopping the capture, closing it, and if you start the webcam, that is the most interesting, that is what you are waiting for. I'm starting it, the capture of that webcam, and then after I just forwarded that laptop on my corridor, so you can see that the corridor is visible and the people are moving. So I just moved that laptop to that location. I'm stopping it. Moreover, in sound capture, very interesting. If you want to speak something or if you want to listen, you click on the capture and you're just listening it. You don't, I mean, the person doesn't even know, and you are listening each and everything. And in the speak option, if you click and stay like click, if you just saying that like I am saying anything, and if I stop it, now this is going to be uploaded over there, and the person is listening that. So it's just an example. In the remote desktop, you can see that in the keylogger, because that system is there. I'm not typing over there anything, so you can just have a logs over there, refresh and check. I didn't type it. There are more options like network functions. You can just see what the network is all about. There's a file manager also. If you explore the files, these are the C, D, E of that system, and this is my system. You can just copy or open any folder, C drive, there is nothing like that. In the users folder and in the NN, go to desktop, that is not just open. And on the desktop, I just executed this. You can copy, receive, send anything what you want. So it is just amazing. It is just amazing that you can send anything, you can receive anything, everything being opened. The password database that are stored over there, or you can just shut down the computer system from here, power off, shut down, or just restart or log off. A lot of services, or you can just update the server. So you just hijack the system. That is what just I want to say, that you got the system. And this happened because of port forwarding. So normally a routing device will look at the header of a packet, and this, let me open this slide. In this slide, the routing device will look at the header of a packet and simply send it to the appropriate interface to reach the destination. Now this is the destination. He is going to look at the packet. When the router comes, when the packet comes, he will look at the port, at the address, he will send it to the particular address. And in port forwarding, however, the interception application or device reads the packet header, notes the destination, but it rewrites the header information and sends it to another host destination. So different from the one requested. Now the host destination may be a different IP using the same port, or a different port on the same IP, or completely the different combination of the two. So port forwarding will let you know, will let you that you can do exactly a system hacking in the WAN network. But if you're doing it for LAN, you don't have to forward any of the code. So guys, let's come to the security part. Points to ponder regarding system security. That is the name of the topic. It seems like recently computers are more and more vulnerable to hacking. Yeah, we just saw that. And many of the people, some of the children using the system, they are not aware of the vulnerabilities of the system. They don't have firewalls, they don't have antiviruses. So even the people around the computer system, even modern antivirus software and firewalls, computer need the help of their users to keep them secure. If you have a very good firewall, if you have a very good antivirus, still these users should be knowing that how to use it. Users should be aware of how to use an antivirus or a software or any firewall. So if you are not aware of it, you are the most vulnerable person who can be a threat to your computer system. So you can down this simple things like password strength and restriction. So this slide shows you how to secure your system from protecting yourself from the outside to making it difficult to do anything on the inside network. So first I will start with the basics, and the first thing is set a strong password. Now setting a password prompts that user to type in the specified secret word to log in. A password should be strong. Don't set your password to your username, the word password, or the name of your dog, or your girlfriend's name, or any mobile number. Even something like cornflakes21 is easy for a password breaker to guess. And try not to include any words in the dictionary. Instead, try use an acronym such as your initials or with all the digits of your birthday, and add it together with random punctuations and the letters to put. So make it a complex pattern and don't make it like very easy one. And the second is that restrict other users account. Now you have to set other user accounts to restrict it, so they cannot install programs or view other files without permission, or change important system settings. Do this to the accounts of anyone if you believe does not going to know computers well or may cause harm to your system. Like the relatives' children come to your house and they just want to play games. They are just moving on different websites. They don't know how to operate it. They are just downloading toolbars, different type of things, and they the software says you have to disable the antivirus. They disable the antivirus. It says that you disable the firewall. They disable the firewall. So these things you have to work on. You have to implement this on those users whom you believe that they could be vulnerable to your computers. Now, the third thing is that you have to install an antivirus software. Look, brothers, it is important to have some protection for your computer against computer viruses, because without protection, your computer is extremely vulnerable to a virus attack. And I've seen many guys, they don't have, they're using their system for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. They don't have antiviruses. They are just taking risk that they don't want to use antivirus. They are just lazy to use antivirus. So guys, you just have to use antivirus. Even if you are an exploit writer, do all your work in your VMware machines and you have to use antivirus. And the last point is that install a firewall. This is going to prevent people hacking into your system, and also prompt before program attempt to make changes to your system. Any changes, any intrusion coming to your system, anything that comes to your system from outside to inside, that is going to be stopped by default. So let's move on to some advanced, and you have to do only these things if you are a computer expert. So first thing is to set up a BIOS password. Many of you guys know how to set a BIOS password. Many of you know how to crack those BIOS passwords. So setting up a BIOS password could be a very good security from the crackers. So a BIOS password will prompt the user to type in a password before even booting the system. So this is going to prevent any unwanted users from using your system, computer system, or setting in the BIOS, entering the BIOS, and find the option to set a password. So set it prompt for the password to do anything on the computer system. And you can use gpedit.msc to configure. You just configure gpedit.msc to disable command prompt to prevent access to control panel. But I want to give you a tip that gpedit can change many other things, such as forcing a Windows Classic or other visual style, forcing a classic start menu, preventing things from being open, or enable or disable help and error reporting, etc. So I just want to warn you that while using gpedit.msc, be careful. If you disable run, leave the command line enabled and vice versa. Otherwise, the settings you change will be difficult to change. Yeah, you just have to be warned. And don't overdo the gpedit settings. These settings can make a computer a prison. It is going to be a jail very quickly for you guys. And do not use the example password on this page for anything. Anyone could try this password, or any of your accounts can be compromised for anything. So guys, I'm done with what I want to show. I've shown you the Trojan part, the hacking part. I've shown you the security part also. Now this is time for you guys to ask questions from me, and you have the questions, you have the answers. And I just want to tell you one more thing, that if you want to ask questions related to anything not related to technology, anything non-technical, you just send your queries to this email, sonika.sharma@mercury.co.in. For any further queries regarding webinar, training, certification, please drop a mail to this email. And we are just looking forward for your valuable feedback. And thanks for your time, but there is a time for you guys to ask questions. So you have questions, we have answers. So I'm going to open this slide for you guys, so that any question related to any training, certification, webinar, fees, duration of the course, anything like this, you just ask to this lady at this email address. Any technical question regarding CH and regarding this webinar, code forwarding, Trojans, anything, just ask me. So let's start with the question and answer. Yes, you can ask. I'm looking. Questions are coming. I repeat, people are still asking questions regarding fee structure. I told you that if you want to ask questions regarding these things, fees and all, you just ask to the concerned person, that is the email address. But anything related to technical, just ask me. Okay, we got the questions, and Mr. Arif Naki says that, don't you think the demo you showed about live hacking using dark format is not possible, as most people use antivirus and it's very famous Trojan which will be detected by any antivirus? What do you say? Well, brother, I say that my motive was not to show dark format. My motive was to show what is the process of doing a live system hacking in a WAN network. And yes, you're correct that if anyone is using any simple antivirus, dark format is a very famous Trojan tool, so it is going to be detected. But the problem is people doesn't know how to do live system hacking in WAN network. My motive was to share it with you that port forwarding is the solution to do hacking in a WAN network. So we have a lot of options. We are not going to be restricted with dark format only. We have a lot of good options. But the motive was to do live system hacking in WAN network, and that is what the solution is. So I look forward for you. If you are satisfied with my answer, you can just say that was good. If you are not, you can ask me again. Mr. Rohit Kakkar says, regarding port forwarding, we have external IP port number, internal IP port. How does from external source directly delivered to internal IP. Well, your question is not clear, but what I understood is that how does packet get delivered to internal IP address? Okay, I just want to show you this slide again. If you see here, this is the global IP address of the router, and people are coming towards this IP address, global IP. Can anyone come to my global IP address? So at the point of forwarding, when I say that forwarding is going to be at 5555, okay, and I switch on the listening at my internal IP address. So now by creating a stub, when I mentioned 5555 with the port number, with the IP address, that was of this system, of this router. And when anyone clicks on that stub, that means he is ready to give his entire Metropolitan session to this IP with the port number. Now, when anyone comes here, my port forwarding says that anyone comes here at the external port number of my public IP, he is going to be redirected automatically because of this router's port forwarding to my internal IP address. So this is the feature of port forwarding. If you enable port forwarding to your internal network and something is coming from outside to your internal system, so if anyone tries to communicate at a particular port number that is forwarded to your system, then they are going to be directly redirected to your internal system because of port forwarding. Santosh Mokate says that if we use bees 2.07.rar instead of dark comment rar. Well, brother, CH already recommend more than 50 tools of Trojan, and we have NJRAD that will I recommend better than bees. Bees is also very good. We have a lot of tools, remote administrative tools. You can use bees, you can use dark comment, you can use NJRAD. I think both are good, so you can use both. Mr. Jiten Patel says that which firewall I can use to secure my server, hardware or software. Okay. Well, brother, if you say my server and the server has a public IP address, if it is not an internal server, a simple internal server, okay, and if you can invest more on firewall, if you have money, your company can invest more on firewall and security, then I would suggest hardware. What is better than hardware? Logical things are logical, but what is better than hardware? And we have a very good stateful technology we use as a checkpoint firewall. We have a very, very great stateful technology patented by Checkpoint that has came into market in 1993, and it has been 20 years now. So if you or your company can afford a hardware firewall, then nothing could be better than that. Okay, I would request one of my friends, he is still asking for the question regarding fees. I suggest that you can ask the question to the concerned email. I gave it to you here. You can just ask at this email address for the queries regarding fee structure, regarding company's profile, regarding anything. But if you want to ask anything technical related to this webinar, you can just ask it. Okay, Mr. Henry says that what programming language will you recommend for a webinar? Okay, if you really want to learn programming language, I would suggest you to start with the C language, because if you say I'm a beginner, you have to start with C language, and after C, then whatever language we pick, that is going to be very easy. So if you start with C language, that is going to be very, very easy for you, because C is itself tough, and